like looking at things in broad view. And I like when things come together, whether it's thematically or it just makes sense. Some things that don't have yeah, yes. And then so we have Psalm 23. And then we have peace. Yeah, peace is called, which is just beautiful. And I finally figured out why we put it together. It echoes some of the lines from Psalm 23, particularly in the thousands. And then the second layer of that expansion is how I wonder what it did, and some of the subtext nuance, but I think it was during the Bach London. It's quite interesting. So reading on, by the time you get to the last one,
and you're correct on that.
yeah, so it's very satisfying. And I mean, and so then you keep coming about. Well, I do a lot of editing, both in my own work and also figures. There's something we call the bump. Well, it's the bump like this expression of that means that you're supposed to be reading and storing and learning. It's like that, with that word. So this whole thing is just robots. Because it's like the punctuation, words together, structure, stanzas, and yeah, just puzzle.
I think I haven't heard the expression bumps, but I like it. I think that is precisely the right description of this of E. Cummings generally. I find it's one of his most accessible poems. There are not those things very good. Do you want to take a run at it?
To read it out loud.
Well, if you'd like to do that, and then you can either say that's a bump, or
oh yeah, sure. You're right. To really present it, you probably need to do that fan as be a fan, because there's certain emphasis that you put on why that information. But I'll give it a shot. I thank you for most this amazing day, for the leaping, tingling spirits, truth, and a blue, true dream sky, and for everything, which is natural, which is infinite, which is yet. I who have died and alive again. This is the sun of birth. This is the earth. Day of life, end of love and wings, end of the day with happening. Immediately birth. How should tasting, touching, hearing, seeing, breathing, any lifted from the know of all knowing nothing? Even merely being, doubt unimaginable. Now the years of my years away. And now the eye, my eyes are open.
well, thank you. I think you read that splendid. So, comments about the bumps, or and this is open discussion. Just
two bumps out of it, because I thought you were, so I was reading that nobody transcribed this with the bumps. And that's, I think you got from most this as opposed to this most. And then same thing down below. All nothing human merely being of the very human. you know, the separation of those words that you might normally think would go together by something else. I guess that would be a flaw.
Yeah, and so as an editor, you want to rearrange it. No, this is.
But I agree with most of it, that's you. But I like how should, I'm just gonna leave out a whole bunch of adjectives. How should any human merely be? No, unimaginable you. That's really human merely be, certainly makes it very mortal.
Very
Mortal.
more.
You know, if the right side of that, you know, beside the unimaginable you. I think it's really interesting that coming all of this effort to be watching. I was surprised to see that. Surprised to see that. Surprised to see that.
What, where from here, I was like, you know, lowercase I am, yeah. We can do it always out of the rest of the first.
That didn't change.
Yes.
Get this poem typed into the script with the computer telling you every point. The space after that same thing. I need to capitalize this and now it's free. That's the
I know.
You're onto it. You see, each of us, I have to tell you, I'm not really as a good player, so I'm just going to this. I think there may be canonical readings of any of these poems, but I am not someone who can tell you what that canonical reading is. My perspective in reading poetry is we each read a poem ourselves, and it speaks to us one way or the other. It says a lot of bumps here, or it's however we read it. I think it's a correct reading. I did have one English course as my graduate with Harold that may never really well with some of you, and one of the most memorable people in the middle of the note. And he asked a student, unfortunately, it was not. He asked the student how he read a passage. The student told him that how he read it. And Bloom said, and I thought this was the most liberating thing that happened. That's a very credible reading. It's not the way I would read, but he honored the students' reading. And I just think that sort of registered with me as a key for literature generally. The academics may have their canonical readings and people that are like, for the rest of us, we read this stuff because we want to be immersed in it, we want to enjoy it, we want to love it, or we're offended by it, or whatever. And all reading is a good reading because it's where we are as we read the text, right? So I find it really helpful, absolutely not. I think it's a better reading. Oh, and I heard things. Some of the way, some of the way you read it is similar to what I read. Other things that are different, and all of a sudden there's something I can see, which is really wonderful. This is how I not only one, but together. So that we listen to it, actually, yeah, himself, so that's the yeah. Well, I'm going to conclude on this now. I have a little. There are three important things that I said. When I was a little kid in Sunday school, we used to do I thought they were kind of cool. So I'm still in the business. But they are poems on one side and paintings on the other side. So the Academy of American Poets sponsors what is called a poem in April. This year it's the 27th. And the deal is you carry a poem with you and then you meet people and checkout line at the grocery or any of the bus stop, you whip out your poem and say, hey, this is my poem. And I'm like, sure. And they think you're actually nuts. I actually, one day, I had a memory of business. I was having an oral surgery. I was in the chair and having my back sitting on them. And there was the oral surgeon, and I think there were three assistants there. Really good technicians and had all the things. And they were just about ready to go. The other thing is how about to pair artwork with poems. And in this case, I picked up William Summers' painting called Adam and Eve, which is just loaded with color and excitement and kind of a sense that this whole thing is moving. It's just happening for the first time. And I paired those two because that's the sense of sort of an moment of creation that I experienced in this being coming to. And the reason I like the way he bends the syntax and bends the grammar, the bumps. I love that expression. My sense of my vocabulary. Because I think this is the record of a sort of ecstatic moment when it's somehow beyond action. It's just totally immersed in the experience of the limited, and he's astounded that he, and perhaps we as readers, who resonate with this, how should tasting, touching, hearing, all the five senses, breathing, all these are modifiers of the human merely being. Tasting, touching, hearing, breathing, lifted from the know of nothing, of all nothing. Created ex nihilo. This incredible being, this breathing, seeing, touching, and feeling. Doubt, unimaginable beauty. This just, I keep on coming back to Job, because Job is that moment when Job is standing before the tribunal. He's had the chutzpah to sue God when God is not only the defending judge. That's a big cheeky undertaking, and he's just stunned by the magnitude and the magnificence and the wonder and the illimitableness of creation. I think he comes as having an experience, a moment, and it may actually be that the moment occurred while he was writing the poem. Luke Hanks is the editor of one of the books that I've taken some of these poems out of. And he makes a distinction between religious poetry and emotional poetry. And religious poetry is descriptive of either a religious event or an observance for the season. John Donne's sequence of sonnets that go through the church year. Those are religious poems. They're describing the seasons, Advent to Christmas to. But devotional poems, according to are the poet at prayer, the poet sitting down, and what brings him to the desk, one doesn't know. But at that moment, the creation of the poem is actually an encounter with the divine. And some poems one reads just scream out that that's what's happening. I think that the whole way that the grammar and the syntax and the vocabulary and the modifiers are all mixed up. He has adverbs, modifying nouns, or maybe we'll refer back to a previous adjective. Just kind of capture the uncontrollability of an ecstatic moment.
You know, when we come to the Holy Spirit, because your eyes are awakened to hierarchy.
Right, and clearly, as you've already pointed out, I think it was you, wasn't it, that this is the lesson this is I think we've gotten the man born blind. And all through scripture, Jesus says that those who are ears will see. And again, those who think they see are not seeing. There's a lot of play on eyes and ears in scripture. Cummings, who was the son of a military minister, obviously was deeply steeped in the tradition.
Appreciate it much more than there's a market poetry. And the picture as well. I see definitely strong.
Well, just to carry this one step further, I like the little prayer cards I got in Sunday school. And I sort of see poetry as play. And so I don't think this is very far from play. And I think actually when I did this card for Poem and Pocket years ago. And so I got it out and put it in this journal. There's a Charles Birchfield watercolor that I almost said, maybe I should put the Birchfield instead of Summers. And it's interesting because when you allow either as Celeste did last week, allow poems to speak to each other, or you allow a piece of art to speak to a poem, maybe a piece of music to speak to. You see and hear different things. So Betsy will be glad when maybe she when Lent is over, because she doesn't see much of me. I'm having so much fun at my desk. It's just a jolly time. Oh, that's not that. It's not used for that. Well, I really love it. Being these spend some time. It's a wonderful. Well, but there are some others here, and any takers.
Well, I was struck by Whit Monday for a few reasons, but I'd never heard of her. I grew up in a church, at the time of Calvin Church, that talked a lot about Good Sunday, which I had absolutely no idea had anything to do with church. That was the name that tended to like people about. But I knew.
And where was this?
Oh, Canada. I was in the United Church of Canada.
Okay.
That was the Presbyterian,
Yeah.
Presbyterian Methodist. So I did a little research and I had no idea that I was in that day. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, but when you were near water, and then when I read it, realized it's all like war. We decided to put this on Easter Day. That period is
Let me just interrupt. Thank you for sharing that. That's all new information. When I read this, and I don't want to stop you from where you're going. Well, in Britain, Whitsunday or Pentecost is the beginning of the holiday season. So everyone is out driving or on buses or walking in the country or something on Whitsunday. And the week following, and so I read this not with a predisposition toward darkness or danger, but with a predisposition toward holiday and vacation. So thank you for sharing that. That's an interesting layer of meaning that I didn't have at all.
Yeah, so anyway, so I was going to being holiday actors, you know, but that where the darkness came from, I was thinking something. Because that's what I read, but then I can't remember exactly what happened. With Monday was a holiday matter. That's pretty seventeen. I don't know about the whole personality show. I certainly wasn't intended. But anyway, that's the actual title of my eye because with something was something that I grew up with, not in the Anglican church, but in the United. But then I didn't see the fit. I didn't see the candidate dressing like a person. You know, it's funny looking, but kids can get. Yeah. I didn't have to do it, but I know it's hard to do with my math.
We will cut you lots of slack.
All right. With Monday. Their feet on London, their heads in the great clouds. They, if you call it a holiday, stroll from street to street, talking an eye for where the angels used to be, guys. But the happy future is a thing of the past, and the street echoes to nothing but the sovereign peace, the Lord my shepherd. Familiar words of myth stand up better bonds than that knowledge. Perhaps there is something in them. I'm not one, I'm dead. He makes me down to lie, death by christening and fire my heart. The quiet stems are gone to solving water.
Comments?
Just the reference to angel used to be in the sky. Walking. Some kind of destroyed. There was a steeple or something else that was the thing that used to be in the sky. Or angel that was in the sky is used to referring to
Well, and I read something more similar to yours, and that is the angels used to be in the sky, but now they're airplanes. Oh, and monoliths can get knocked down, like the mythic story is immune to that abusive attack. But he was very morose, almost cynical toward the end. Yeah.
he almost seems to, because of the horrors of horror, he almost seems to really be doubting God. As he, where he kind of pulls some of this out of the 23rd Psalm, kind of has very cynical comments after this. All not one, all not one dead.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Well, but there's a twist at the end, which I think can also be read either. I want to say literally, and that's not the sense. It can be read in a positive sense as making an allusion to a biblical theme, or it can also be read cynically. And I want to, I appeal to you, Gary, to check the my sensibilities on this.
No pressure.
In the book of Revelation, there's this passage where St. John the Divine is being shown a vision. Hordes of people in white robes who were around the throne, praising and worshiping God. And John says to whom? The angel, somebody. Who are these? And the person responds, these are those who have washed their robes in the blood. Which, and this is what I need to check on. The introduction of New Testament studies. Among other things, I think that was an allusion to martyrdom. And martyrdom, the blood of the martyr was oftentimes understood to be the equivalent of baptism. That the blood became the baptismal water, which then was the moment and the medium of rebirth at the point of death. And so there's a whole baptismal imagery here. And evokes that when he says, not when I'm dead. I read that exactly the same way, like, you know, almost sort of spitting on the side of the sidewalk, kind of spitting it out. He makes you down to lie, death, my person, and fire, my font. I think of the fire in the buildings during the bombing of London. Then again, he bends the syntax here, at least he bends my, I want this story to go step by step rationally, but it's bouncing back and forth in the song. And, you know, the narrative of the Blitzkrieg, and then it equates, it doesn't, Thames Solomon with the quiet waters of the sea. But I asked myself to read this as his final sort of opening the door to a vision of hope, or is the cynicism and closeness. I see it more as sort of just morose and sort of giving up, not so much hostile to the biblical story as having given up. And I'm sort of wondering where he is.
Yeah, I don't get the impression that he used word in this positive way, the way I understand him, more as, you know, what I used to understand that he's like, oh,
Yeah.
This is somebody that has seen so much more. So embittered by it. We can't even imagine the existence of God. It's just very cynical about it.
I'm with you. Spoiler alert, that's what we say about this. We're going to have some World War II poems. World War I. And I read this along those.
he could have written familiar words of faith, and that would have made perfect sense, you know, in that line. And to me, the words of passage shows from there, almost juxtaposed to that.
I certainly, at the very best, it's ambiguous. It could be just sheer cynicism.
Exactly what I was thinking. Peace.
Oh,
People
oh,
are shifting in their psychology. Just so hard. In homes. This is a using religious crusade to justify imperialism. And the Orthodox Church is split. Totally decided to go. Not Chris said, Bishop Ed. Yeah, you know, and just shakes. Having somebody who's had that kind of interaction with hear their relations. Right? Bishop Sway, who was the Bishop of Kelly. Other than that, yeah, he would talk about meetings that he would have with the Dalai Lama, with the two-year-olds, it's kind of like a floating crop game. You're just undecided. You brought up. So you're. Anyway. I really like it. Yes. You have one? Yeah. Please. You might be able to use light. You're just talking about that. There's John remember there. It's no light. It's really dark, no dark. It's like two blues, it seems. I spend a lot of time on treadmills and other instruments of torture. And I'm not always captivated by the screens that showing so popular the voice or golf. So I take those, and most of what I watch these days. YouTube videos of people who go on 3 hikes. Make the Appalachian Trail. And because especially if you're moving from south, you have to leave at a certain point here to get up to where the winter sun should be. But that also means that when you're down in the sun, a little day is 9,500. And as long as between water so they start hiking. They start hiking 2 or 3 days, many miles down, and then rest and drink. And they're all very GoPro cameras. And that's kind of the things that they say that they see in fact, they would never see. States and all the other things that do stuff during the night that they can teach. And so I really, when they said, look, if you're out of that, see that there's a foods. I'm just reading this in my I noticed that we can't. The forest just kind of quiet. Just the sounds. That's my whole life. But I think clearly, one of the very great sort of, I don't know if he was just sort of, it's really dark. He's just saying that in a very sort of straightforward, literal way. The whole sort of series of chapters on darkness. And she puts out a day that we tend to associate darkness. But that's not necessarily there. So this is the same kind of, which is why it's in, because the other poems about darkness, with the exception of the hills on English ones, who said it's the darkness who gave strength, who was the first week, I think. Generally, in the poems we have, light is good about. I don't know, stealing. I smart with that. Precisely because of that, although it's another poem, just in itself.
little did I know that the week that we were going to read this poem was the week that Aaron Rodgers would go on a dark retreat. Did you all see it? I don't see any. Well, where did I read this? Was this in the Times? It's one of the, I get all this. But Aaron Rodgers is leading the Packers. Well, no, I thought, well, I thought he made up his mind. But maybe, it sounds like he made up his mind, but that's actually not the players. He went on a dark retreat, which does have roots in the Western aesthetic tradition, where you go to a place of sort of social and physical deprivation and life deprivation. And in solitude, you have visions and you look for revelation and discovery. And I just thought it was, there's nothing that is not now sort of commercialized, I guess, and I want to say trivialized, but I'm looking for a better word than that. Aaron Rodgers makes this big deal about going to a dark retreat where he is in a little cell and they shove food to him through the door, and he doesn't interact with people, and he has no light, and he goes there not to encounter God, but to decide what he's going to do in his career. Yeah, well, but it also makes it utilitarian somehow. I think one of the things I wrestle with in a lot of popular religion is that God has become a part of utilitarian equation. And one of the reasons I love reading his poetry is that's God is simply God in divinity. And it helps move me out of that transactional relationship. But I just had that out. Aaron Rodgers, and you're going and you're having a news conference about this.
Yeah. But in the Aaron Rodgers.
Well, look, we have, I think, 6 or 7 minutes. Anybody else? I've got something to just touch. And I'll do it quickly so someone still has 3 or 4 minutes. You may have discovered that the first several of these poems were really based on a connection with the 23rd Psalm, God's providence, and so on. And the second group were really related to gospel message, the seeing side of God. The piece from William Blake is not really a poem, it's just a little excerpt, which stood alone in this English spirituality, is an English spirit, I think, is the title of the book. And it's a compendium of English writings that comes out from the little period. And this just sits there. And so I don't even know where in Blake this appears. But he says, I assure for myself that I do not behold the outward creation, and that to me it is a hindrance. not action. What, it will be questioned? When the sun rises, do you not see around this the fire something like a gleam? Oh, no, no. I see an innumerable company of heavenly hosts. Crying, holy, holy, holy is the Lord God. Clearly, we all remember Blake from the high school English and being introduced as an English mystic. He is about as mystical as it gets. He is given to visions. I looked endlessly into this. I think I mentioned an English professor in Ohio State. I enjoyed very much. His name is Al Cooney. He used to quote something that is allegedly attributed to Blake's wife, who said of Blake, your head is so much in heaven that you will know it. But I just wanted to he writes a similar thing in a letter to the Reverend Dr. Trussler, who is an Anglican priest. Since his address is 13 Hercules buildings landed, I would like to think that he is somewhere, not just a little parish parson tucked out in some county somewhere, but near the centers of Anglicanism. And he apparently, this is a letter of Blake's, but Trussler has apparently commissioned Blake to do some engravings or something. And he has rejected some. And Blake opens his letter. Read, are we reading? Sir, I really am sorry that you are fallen out of the spiritual world. And then on and on about the same business about how people see, and some people see one way and others see another. He then says, I see everything like in this world, but everybody does not see alike. To the eyes of a miser, a thing is far more beautiful than the sun, and a bag worn with the use of money has far more beautiful proportions than a vine filled with grapes. He is not letting trust the thought. But this is the sentence. The tree which moves some to tears of joy is in the eyes of others viewed trusting. Only a green thing stands in the way. So much for your red, but you see along. So much for the green virtue. Well, thank you all. Thank you for joining us. Really is worthy of in a different way. It's like reading Cummings that it is dense. Thanks, you all.